is the Unlearning Podcast, a show where we will begin to disrupt, dissolve, deprogram, and dismantle what we think limits us in order to reinvent, rebirth, and revolutionize the world in our most authentic selves. My name is Christina, and I'm your host. So, welcome everyone to the Unlearning Podcast. Today, our topic will be just wisdom walking with Mr. Teddy.
Wisdom walking.
And so, again, joining us is our special guest, Mr. Tedy Box. Welcome to the show. So I'm gonna read my little write-up. I hope I do you justice. Tedy Box defines himself as a man just out here living life before life lives me. On the contrary, he is a humble and grounded leader, teacher, mentor, and serviceman. Based out of somewhere USA, he is the main creator and visionary of two podcast series, Hell I Don't Know podcast and Teddyism podcast, where he takes on various topics, everything from conspiracy theories to perspectives on relevant issues, to mental health and healing, to movie reviews with experts, friends, and strangers. Teddy's presence has a prominent following on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. Ask Teddy anything, and his response is most likely, hell, I don't know. Yet through his response, he provides keen, thought-provoking, and most times hilarious insights with the seed of wisdom and warmth at its core. Please again, welcome Tedy Box to the show.
Appreciate that.
Yes. I'll just start it off. Just tell us about who you are and what you do, however you want to take it.
I'm just a normal guy walking this earth, affecting everybody's outcome as I go. That's as humble as I can be.
Well, then don't be humble.
I'm from Arkansas. I love my state. I'm from a small city in Arkansas. I call a metropolis called Chittister. I represent that place wherever I go. I call it the Chidestrians. So I'm from I love that place. I put that place on my back and I take it with me wherever I go. I won't be one of those people who claim the bigger city because it's more famous to claim that bigger city. So raised up in the church. Mother and father are still alive. They're still in the church themselves. I'm a PK, but I decided to not be the normal PK as per se. So I decided a long time ago I didn't want that tag. So I decided to be different. So, and as I was deciding to be different, I actually became who I actually was supposed to be. My uncle, brother, friend, cousin, just a natural human being.
Yeah.
I call myself an alien to my nieces and nephews. So I said I'm a rare commodity. I'm not, as the host would tell you, I'm not natural. So I have you laughing, and then as I have you laughing, I would drop wisdom in the middle of laughing. And we'd be like, oh, and then laugh about it. So
it definitely makes you think. I listened to a couple of your podcasts, which I enjoyed. And I'm not done, so I gotta dig in it. But you have this gift, so like you said, through I think healing of, through laughter, you drop this seed that's just like, oh, and it leaves someone speechless. And so as I'm listening to your podcast, I'm laughing, and then there's this pause to just reflect on something that you said. It's like, dang, that came out of nowhere. What are you finding that specifically resonates with your audience, your target audience? What is your target audience? Who is your target audience?
Target audience is just people, period, because I understand people.
Yeah.
I understand that not everyone's going to be like me, and I don't mean that as color, because I don't really look at color as much as I look at everybody as their own entity. Because we can't continue to say black people, white people, and just for us, period. From the people that came before us, they always said 400 years of slavery. And so I started a few years ago saying, hey, that never changed, because they also said that before them, they said 400 years of slavery. So I'm like, when does that year become 401 years. So my thought process is, if no one's going to change that, then I want to be the one to change that for when I talk to my nieces and nephews and stepkids and stepbrothers and all the friends that I come in contact with. I have a platform that I'm able to talk to people with, and the platform is me. I'm the table. So as I'm the table, everyone has an opportunity to sit at it. So as I be a table, there's unlimited chairs for everyone to sit at that table, and I don't really care who sit down. So as you sit down, I'm listening and we're conversating. So that's my reach. I don't really put a defining moment or particular color or frame on my audience, because my audience is just my audience. So whoever tunes in, they tune in. I don't worry about who don't and who do. So I just talk and listen.
I appreciate that about you, because as I'm new to this world of podcasting and new to the world of sharing your thoughts and ideas in your voice, I've had a lot of people come with the mindset of you have to have a target audience. And I've just been like, but why though? Like, I don't think that's what I need. And you had said both of our podcasts are somewhat similar in what it is that we're doing. We just do it differently. And I like to say that we fit the box of humanity, which is not just one type of person. Like, I don't want to put myself in a box or put limitations on myself, like, because we are limitless. If we are walking in divinity, in our true divinity, like, we are limitless. And so, it was refreshing to hear you say that, because you have been like one of maybe 3 people who are like, no, I'm just doing what that thing is. So I really appreciate that.
You're welcome.
What made you want to start this podcast?
Do your podcast or start mine? I can answer both.
Say it again. I'm sorry.
I said, do your podcast or start mine? Because I can answer both.
Well, you answer both, but I want you to answer yours first, because the story you told me had me cracking up.
So for my podcast in particular, it's a 2 to 3 part story, because the Tedyism name comes from me always just having some wisdom, because I'm deep up into the faith, because the Bible says the gray hairs present wisdom. And I was never one to want to dye that when I had them. So I'm like, well, it's what the Bible says, so I'm not getting rid of them, because everybody going to see this wisdom I got. I don't care if I'm 19, 20, 25, 172. They still going to see all this wisdom that's presented. And so Tedyism is a derivative from my nickname. And so I just said, okay, it started evolving over the years. Back in high school, I had a friend that used to call me Teddy B. And so that stuck with me along the times. And then I started going by Teddy B, Teddy Blessed. When I went overseas, it became Teddy Blessed. So that changed again. And so as I became Teddy Blessed, which is still some of my email addresses is Teddy Blessed, then it became Tedyism, because that's where I meet wisdom. So it became Tedyism. So it's not a cult. So y'all know it's not a cult. So that's the Tedyism. It's for all of my quotes, merchandise when I start coming up with it. So it's my business name. But Tedy Box is what I go by, because I still want to use my last name. I didn't want to change it just because Hollywood wants you to change it. So I decided to stay me. And I took some of my nickname and my real last name and just made who I am and still be me, because I still have family members that call me Teddy. So it's nothing new. And my parents, everybody got a name that they call you. So I'm not really out of the realm. New people call you whatever you allow them to call you. So it's like, now you call me Teddy. That's if I never answered to that, you be like, hey, Mr. Teddy, Mr. Terrence, or whatever the name is that I answer to. That's pretty much what people are going to call you. So that's where Tedyism comes from. The podcast, the name, hell, I don't know, came from 2006, August 2006. No, it was July 3rd, 2006. I know the exact date, July 3rd, 2006. It was during a basketball tournament down in Fort Hood on the military base. I'm telling you, this is the exact truth, the exact story. Me, 3 of my friends, and I'm about to call their names out. Carlos, Roderick, and J-Rome. We was all in a basketball tournament, 3-on-3. And like I told Miss Christina, I don't know why they call it 3-on-3 when you got 4 people. And we entered the basketball tournament, and we was all say, hey, we need a name. And I was like, hey, y'all, we need a name. And I turned around and said, y'all, we need a name. They said, well, I don't know what you're going to put on. They said, hey, Box, what name you want to put? I said, hell, I don't know. And then we looked around. We looked at each other. I said, what y'all got? They said, I don't know. The other one said, I don't know. And then they said, so what you want to go? I said, hell, I don't know. So when I went back to the guy, and then he said, hey, what's your name? I said, hell, I don't know. I wrote that down. And then when it got time for them to call us up, he said, he was over there calling. He said, hell, I don't know. Hell, I don't know. Hell, I don't know. And then they said, who is he calling? I said, oh, that's our group name. And we just bust out laughing. So when I got ready to make my podcast, I told him, I said, hey, guys, I'm making a podcast, and I'm thinking about using the name Hell, I Don't Know. And then they said, dude, you crazy. If anybody going to pull it off, it's going to be you. I said, I appreciate y'all. And they said we just been laughing about it ever since, and they listen to the podcast too. So it's just it's something that we all have been using since 2006. And it's literally like a name that we all just have for our groups and stuff. So we all just, it's a joke that we have. So now everybody know.
Nice. So in your podcast, and I was listening to some of your episodes.
Which one?
I listened a little bit to the first one that talked about homecoming.
Oh yeah.
And then I went into the one about the healing.
The Healing Hurt series.
The Healing Hurt series. And so I started on that one, and that's where I left off. But that one, and your story. What's your story?
Oh,
right.
I Am the Story and Who's Writing Your Story.
Okay, so yeah. I went to Who's Writing Your Story. So I didn't listen to you when you said go back to those other, because I was like, no, I'm listening to this one. I'm going to go back. But I noticed that at the root of everything, no matter what topic that you talk about or you address and explore, you always bring it back to the space of knowing who you are. There's always that message that's like interwoven within about bringing it back. You know, it was very clear in the Who's Writing Your Story. Like you have to know who you are in order for you to write your own story and don't have other people write your story. Was there ever an experience where you had that battle or that journey, or was that something that was just like innate in you? Because that's something you even share with me is like, you can do your thing as long as you are staying true to who you are. And that was powerful for me to hear that. Again, thank you. That's why I walk in wisdom. Was there an experience that you had, or you had, how did you get to that point?
Well, that's a great question, because it's actually inside of your podcast title, because you have to unlearn to learn exactly where you want to go. Because I call a lot of things your programming. High school gives you your programming for your baseline of things you should learn. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's up to you to start taking it from there. That's your foundation. Your family gives you your foundation. Everyone around you gives you a foundation, but it's up to you as an adult to take it from there and start learning other things. I have this thing I said, children need to be told what to do. Adults already know what to do. So you're either going to be two things. You're either going to be a child or you're either going to be an adult. So as an adult, you don't want to be called a child.
Yeah.
But if you're acting like a child, then you want to be told. True enough, sometimes we still need to be told what to do, but not all the time, because I like empowering people to think, because even as we're having this conversation now, I still can't tell you what to ask me, but what question to ask me. You can still put your spin on it, but it's still different. I can say, hey, I want this question, but it's still different because you're putting your spin on it.
Yeah.
For me, it's not really a journey, because let me see how I can put this. it's just recognizing your struggles in life, because we all go through them. And it's just recognizing, I think when we talked before, I think I used the synonym about you always walk into the door, or because I think growing up is people that say you always run into a wall till you realize it's a door there. So I started adding things to it. I said, yeah, you can run into the wall till you realize it's a door there, or you can back them, see if there's a window, or if you can see if there's another opening, or you can just back up and evaluate it. And a lot of things I do is just common things that people actually think about. I'm just one of those people who can just has the strength to say it, because not everybody has the strength to ask that question that you're thinking about. But then you get that one person that comes up and asks that question that's just been festering on your spirit, as Country Wayne says, it's been festering in your spirit.
Yeah.
And then you ask that question, and then you get the answer, and then you're asking that question for the entire group. So
Were you
I
always
also like to sit back and listen. I have it came from my dad, and I've told this story on a lot of interviews I've done, and on my podcast a lot. So if you're listening, you're going to hear this story again. It came from him, and he doesn't remember it, but I do. And this affected who I am today. He was walking me we was going to a parent-teacher conference. And the one thing I remember him saying is, son, if you never ask questions, you never get answers. And so as he told me that stuck with me throughout high school, all to up now. And so as I've told all type of people that I've come across, I say, if you never ask questions, you never get answers. And I tell them, I said, the one thing my dad told me when we was going to a parent-teacher conference one day, and I said, to this day, he don't even remember it. And so I bring it up to him, and he don't even remember it. And they were like, he don't? I said, no. I said, he told me. That's one thing he told me. And I said, that affected my thought process on everything. I said, even then when he told me, I understood then that it's not about me asking a million questions. It's just about me asking the important question to get what I need, not what I wanted. Because need and want is a different thing. Because we want a lot of things, but do we need them? And we need a lot of things, but do we want them? For instance, when you're hungry, do you want to eat or do you need to eat? Because when we want to eat, we want food. Do you need to go to the restaurant, or can you eat what's at the house? Because we always say there's nothing there. Is there nothing there, or is it just nothing you want? So how are you really looking at it? So it's a lot of different scenarios. I get too deep sometimes, but I don't think it's really too deep.
I'm with it. No, I'm with it. Because I think this a similar fashion, and it's how do you then take what you have said and make that practical for somebody who may need to be told or not told, may need to. No,
you said it right. You said it right, because I don't sugarcoat what I tell people, because I don't like people to be sugarcoated when it comes to me.
Yeah.
Because I like to be told. If I'm doing something wrong, tell me. Don't be like, I don't want to tell him because, he may do this. He may tell me.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to tell you. If you're doing something wrong, I'm like, hey, you shouldn't have been doing blank, 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 something, beep, 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 something.
Yeah.
I mean, I ain't using 4-letter words like that, but, I'm just saying, I'm going to tell you. And a lot of my friends respect that, because they know, well, he ain't going to sugarcoat it with you. Yeah. And a lot of people hate that, because you're upfront with them. They're not used to people just telling them up front exactly what's going on. And I'm cool with somebody telling me, hey, you didn't do this. I'm just going to be like, okay, why do you feel like that? So let's start the conversation. Why do you feel like that?
Yeah.
I'm not going to be petty. I'm like, well, I remember you didn't do this and you didn't do that. I'm just going to be like, well, let's have the conversation. Why do you feel like that?
Yeah.
So
I always think that as long as love's in front of it, you tell the truth in love, no ego attached. People are they're a lot reticent to receive what it is that you're saying. Like, I can see that. I can see what you're saying, as opposed to you saying it with that sense of judgment behind it or stroking your ego.
You can tell the difference of how people say things. So you actually know the difference if they're saying it to improve you or they're saying it to just be petty to you.
Mm.
I think my screen messed up. Okay, there you go. My screen had jumped. And with love, it's people want to coddle the love portion, but they don't want to coddle the hate portion. You can't have love without hate because you need them both to understand the whole scenario, the whole 360 circumference of that yin and yang.
Explain that. Can you explain that a little bit more?
Well, that's when things are going good, you're happy, but when things go bad, you think someone did you wrong. So you got your nose up, all up in the air, all up in the flowers when things are going good. And then when things go bad, you think they shouldn't be going bad. But things can go bad just as well as they go good. Good and bad go together.
Yeah.
That's why I said it's a yin and yang. So if you know you're in love, then you should prep yourself for, not saying that it will, but it's a possibility that things can go bad. I have this thought I came up with, I think it was last year. I said, in the middle of the war, there's a possibility for peace. And in the middle of peace, there's also the possibility for war.
Yeah.
So they both can pop up in the middle of each one of them. You just have to be ready for them. I call it the balancing of your scale. If you put them both on your scale, war and peace, then you have an actual balanced scale. You can't have more war on there than you do peace, or more peace than you do war, but then your scale's not balanced. You haven't have an equal amount of them both.
Mm. So how do you, because in our society right now, I mean, we tend to go like, I'm gonna speak for me. Like I have been in those extremes, and I'm learning how to find that balance. Because everything around us is saying it has to be this or that, one or the other. You can't, or the shade of gray suits whoever's the person holding some type of power. How do you move towards more of the balance to see both?
For me, I just understand that you need both. Because ultimately, the biggest thing, and you said it is in the society, is you always hear, well, that's the norm. So I started questioning it. So my question to that is, who sets your norms? And it's what society does, but you're missing the question. The question is, who sets your norms? Yeah. The key word is your in that question, because when you ask that question of who sets your norms, I'm actually asking Miss Christina who sets your norms. I'm not asking the population who sets your norms. I'm asking you to think about who sets your norms.
Yeah.
It should be you who sets your norms. It should be me who sets my norms. I understand what the norm should be. But other than that, if I allow them to set my norms, then I'm not really setting my own. You're not setting yours. You're only allowing them to dictate what you can and what you can't do, which goes back to the podcast. Because remember, I told you, I said, just do whatever you want to do. It's your platform.
Yeah.
Who's to say what your audience is going to be? Because they're only looking at what made them rich, what made them famous, what they got, how they got their audience. No one can actually say, how are you going to get your people? They can only tell you what worked for them. I can only tell you what worked for me, and that's being me. If people are going to listen, they're going to listen. No one's going to stop that. So,
I told y'all he's going to be dropping gems. I
do what I can.
You talked about in one of your episodes, and I haven't finished listening to all of them, but I am, about sitting under the intellectual tree.
That's a new thing.
What is the intellectual tree, and why should we all be sitting under it?
So the intellectual tree, it's actually untitled if you put it together. It's untitled broke down into an acronym. Because if you look at the words untitled, it's when I put it together in a sentence, it's sitting under the intellectual tree leading discussions. That's what it means. It's untitled. Because if you're listening to Heal and Hurt, I have my acronyms. I call them Teddy Nims now.
Wait, Teddy Nims or Teddy Isms?
Or Teddy Nims. Teddy Nims, like anonyms. So, that's,
okay.
Yeah. Because I have several of them. Because I have a shirt that has fat. Because people use that as it's against the rules to call it to people now. I said, well, I am fat. I'm favored and thankful. So it's a different way to look at it.
Ooh, say it again. Say it again.
Favored. I have the T-shirt already, so I have the T-shirt already.
Description. Yes. Okay.
So the shirt says fat, and then the acronym is favored and thankful. So I say, hey, you can call me fat all day because I am favored and thankful. And I just came up with another one. Well, I have several. I came up with another one that was. I was looking at something online, and it said it was calling somebody obese, and then I said, well, you are one blessed, elegant, sexy enthusiast. And somebody was calling a female obese. And I said, well, you are one blessed, elegant enthusiast, sexy enthusiast. And I just left that for everybody to read. And they said, I appreciate it. And it just gives you a different way to use it because I'm big on words. Yeah. And I'm like, you give the words power. The words don't give you power. Also, since you're listening to Heal and Hurt, and Heal and Hurt, and I think it was 5, because the B word is popular now for everybody to say. Yeah. So during that episode, my guest host at the time, she said, "Can you cuss on this platform?"
You're fine.
Okay. She said,
"You want to call me?" Because we know the content.
Yeah, because it's about to be an acronym, so I'm about to break this down. But I have to. She said, "You want to call me?" Yeah. She said, "You want to call me a bitch?" I said, "Well, no, I don't, but I do think you're a blessed, intellectual, thinking, courageous human being." Ooh. Yeah, but they didn't catch it, and so I had to explain. I explained it to some of my buddies. I said, I was just got through doing the show, and it was a part in there where they was asking me, did I want to call them the B word? I said, no. But I said, but I came right back to her. I got a friend too. I sent her the message. I said, but I do want to call you a blessed, intellectual, thinking human being. And she said, what they say? I said, they didn't say nothing. I said, I don't think they even paid attention to what I did. And so it's interesting because I just come up with them out of nowhere. So it's that. Oh, I just came up with a new one. like yesterday, because for me, it's fun to break down the negative connotation of words. Because for hoes, I came up with highly organic and exceptionally sexy. So it's just different ways to look at them instead of the negative connotation that they have on them. So these shirts and sweaters will be out soon. Stay tuned.
Yes, and the link to that we will have in the description of the podcast as well.
Yep. Website still in the works.
Okay. Man, you see, that's what I'm talking about. Like you just dropped that, and now I'm like processing that. Have you ever found yourself? And I don't think your depth and your layers of complexity you can't fake the funk on that one. You can't fake that.
No.
Have you ever found, like to the example that you gave, where it just goes so like past people's heads, you are just like, I am out on my own planet right now. Will people ever get it?
I'm always on my own planet. I'm always on my own planet. But the problem is not me being on my own planet, is if I'm staying on my own planet, or am I leaving and coming back to my planet? So that's the problem a lot of people face. It's not about being on your own planet. It's, do you ever leave your planet to venture out to other planets to come back? Because pretty much we're all our own planet.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Does it get frustrating? Because I'm just going to say for me, sometimes it gets frustrating but I am learning how to leave and come back and visit and then go back. I've not gotten there yet, but I'm trying.
Being your own planet?
Loving being my own planet and then coming to visit. And then sometimes it's like, oh, let me go back.
not for me, because I say no because I'm always talking to. I'm a big person on time, because if when you need to be by yourself, you're going to be by yourself. So when you need to conversate, there's going to always be someone there to conversate. I use the example that speeding, right?
Yeah.
Let's say you leave from New York and you have to get to, let's say New Hampshire.
Mm-hmm.
And then in our minds, we leave late.
Yeah.
And so we're speeding, leaving from Albany to New Hampshire. And we're speeding the whole way. But we're not looking at, we're still going to get there at the exact time we're supposed to get there. No matter how fast we go, how slow we go, we're still going to get there when we're supposed to get there. But the whole time we're speeding, getting tickets, getting pulled over, getting gas, stopping to get something to eat, stopping to use the bathroom. We're just looking at we're running late.
Yeah.
Even when you're going to work, you're looking at you're running late. But it never crossed your mind that you're only going to get there when you're supposed to get there, not a minute before, not a minute after. So your destination and your timing for that location is already made. You just don't realize it because you think you're running late. But actually, you're supposed to get there when you're supposed to get there.
Wow.
So, yeah.
How do you silence your mind? Because you seem like you're a thinker like me. Like your mind is constantly running with just thinking and ideas and creation. How do you silence your mind?
I don't. Because silencing my mind is silencing all existence. Because you don't stop the stars from moving because the sun gets tired.
Oh, say it again. Say it again.
I'm going to have to, because I'm going to have to write that down.
Well, it's recorded. It's recorded. The transcript will be transcripted, so you'll have it. You don't have to write it down.
That's why I keep picking my phone up, because that's one way I don't silence my mind, because you have the notepad on your phone.
Yeah.
So it's I instead of me having an actual notepad, then I have my phone, because when I get them, I'm like, okay, let me put that down, put it in, and then I'll change it later. But it's important for me to get it down so I won't forget it. My students, they created a whole folder on the desktop. They said, Sarge, we got you. Don't worry about it. We got your notes. We got your notes. We got you. We got you. We're going to take them down. And everyone you say, we're going to put them down, and we're going to let you know where they at. And we got you. Okay. I said, I appreciate that. I said, because I need to keep them, because I'll be saying a lot of stuff. And I said, just so you know, I said, you don't silence the stars because the moon get tired. I mean, the sun get tired.
The sun gets tired.
So even today, I just posted. That's what before I got on. I just did today. I just dropped. What is it? I said you got to know you are worthy before you start asking someone else to recognize your worth. Yeah, that's what I said.
And where's that posted? Where can we find that?
It's on all of my pages. Teddyism. It's on Twitter. I just posted it on TikTok, which allows me to put music to it. And then I put it on Instagram just now. So
nice.
It's got the good thing about using TikTok and Instagram and Snapchat and Fanbase is that I added the different logos on it to make the timing of, in the corner it says you are worthy, know your worth, and then it switches to I am worthy, and then in the middle part it says you are worthy, you are strong, you are loved, you are everything, and then it has a heart that keeps popping up on it. So it's I just feel like people need to remember that they're worthy, because we search too much for other people to recognize our own worth, but we continue to push ourselves down and we don't realize how worthy we are. Now, I'm not saying in that to be independent and tell people no, 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 because you still need to recognize how worthy you are. And as you recognize how worthy you are, you remember how important you are. And so you can't ask other people to recognize how worthy you are, put you on the pedestal if you haven't even begin to buy the wood for your pedestal.
Wow. Yeah.
Because we want other people to put us on the pedestal, but we don't want to do the work to even build our own pedestal.
True.
So, I mean, I don't care if you got to put your pedestal on layaway, at least you're working to get it.
Yeah. And sometimes, I mean, I had a mentor who always talked about awareness first is always the first step. And sometimes people just aren't even aware that they need to build their own pedestal. So they're seeking for other people to do it. And so how do you do that with your students? Do you teach K through 12 or you teach adults?
I teach adults.
Okay.
Because I do it on the military side.
Okay.
So I teach adults. Well, the first thing I tell them is I'm meeting them where they are. Because I understand that not everybody has the knowledge that I have. So it will be wrong for me to just all of a sudden just tell them they should have that on day one. So my first week is I'm deprogramming them. And that's what I tell people. A lot of your learning is your programming. So whenever you come to me, it's already your programming. And I said, I understand that. And we as humans, we're not used to meeting someone who understands us.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's not a crutch against us. It's just a natural thing. We're not really used to meeting someone who just naturally understands us. That's why earlier when I told you I'm an avian, I'm a rare commodity, because I just naturally understand people because I've been through things. I understand what it is to have bills late, family sick, divorced. So I understand what it's like to have your car repoed. I understand what it's like to be deployed and other things to be going on. I understand what it's like to almost be on the streets. So I understand everything about life, which is also where I get my quote. You have to live life before life lives you, because life was here before you got here and it's going to be here when you're gone. So I understand all that, and I understand that not everybody learns as I learn. So as I help them learn, then I'm also helping myself, because as I help them, then that allows them to hopefully be able to see how to help the next person. But it's also helping me help the next person. So patience is something. It's not just a virtue. It's also a gift that you should unwrap slowly. So, I need to keep that one too.
As we come to a close, what can we anticipate seeing in the next evolution of Teddy?
Moments. That's my answer for everything. Moments. Because just like I just said, you have to make moments before moments make you. Because all we really have is like right now.
Yeah.
You can say, hey, next week I'm going to do this, but you're overlooking what you're doing right now. You've missed a whole day if you're planning for 3 or 4 weeks out.
Yeah.
And by the time you get to the end of the day, you think back like, wait, what did I do today? So you've missed a whole day. So there's many moments outside of your orbit, I'd say. So if you leave your orbit, you'll realize that there's many constellations, many universes waiting to exist with your orbit. So your gravitational pull should exist outside of your safe zone.
How do you celebrate life in those moments?
Inside of the moments, I'm just thankful for each moment. Because it's, like I said, I'm biblical, so I know that the next moment is not given. So I'm just grateful for each moment.
Yeah. Okay. What is one thing you would want to be known for? Your contribution. Or Or it could be many. It doesn't matter.
Uh, what's one thing I would want to be known for? I can't tell you one thing I want to be known for, but I can tell you some things I will be known for.
Okay.
Some things I will be known for is just having faith in people and having hope and just being humble and just being a rare commodity.
Okay. I'm going to ask you some final questions.
Oh, one thing before you finish.
Oh, yeah.
I will be known for giving people their seeds and helping them grow their flowers. So they have a longer time to enjoy the flower, and then the flower be grown, and then the flower only has a shorter lifespan.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. I gotta keep that.
I'm not going to be offended that you keep like, I just got to write this down. I got to write this down. Because it's all good stuff. So we're getting to hear it first. Well, I'm getting to hear it first. So, thinking back, however many years you want to go back, it could be a specific age. It doesn't matter. What would Teddy today tell that Teddy at that point in your past?
Nothing. Because that Teddy in the past has already talked to the Teddy today. Because that's why I'm Teddy today. But the Teddy today can talk to the Teddy 5 years from now and tell him to keep working, keep striving, keep going, and that the people you're currently talking to and rubbing shoulders with and interviewing and becoming friends with are being affected by the good nature that you have, and there's a shift coming, and you're part of the shift.
That was my next question, so you wrapped that one up. Where can we find you? Where can we be in touch?
So you can find me on all platforms, to include Pinterest, at Tedyism.LLC. On YouTube, it's at Tedyism.LLC, I think. If it's not that, it's at Tedy Box. On Instagram, I think I am able to be Googled and Google searched now.
You are Googleable, yes.
So I don't know if that's creepy or not, but I think it's something to brag about. I'm able to be Google search now, so I've done enough work to where Tedyism is out there in the world. If you put Tedyism in, you will be able to find me on all streaming services. Follow the YouTube page. I have a video up with Mr. Ira Curry. I have interviewed some amazing people. All of my people that I interview are amazing. But follow the video. I need to get my YouTube followers up because everything's being up now. Miss Jones needs to get her followers up also because we're trying to monetize this thing. So follow us on all platforms. But you can follow me on all platforms. I just dropped the episode today with Mr. Darren Zewalk called I Sing Because. It's Christmas episode, and I have another one coming out next week with called This Is Me with Mr. Christopher Weaver, and it's a 2-part episode, and that will wrap up my season for December. And I have starting the beginning of January, I have my story with Audrey Nicole and my stepdaughter. So popping the year off. I have a lot coming up in the new year. I think Miss Christina Jones is going to be back for one of my episodes. So I have a Valentine's Day series coming up, and I have a 4-part series called Grace and Mercy that's going to take me up to Easter. And then I think I'm going to close it out, take a few months break, and then come back and tear everybody's eardrums up. So
I'm trying to get to that point.
Next year is going to be big for everyone.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I just want to thank you so much for taking the time to just reach out and be consistent in reaching out, because I put it out in the book of face, and the people who have been coming towards me are the people who have really been blessing me and filling my spirit. And so I hope you all I got so many gems of wisdom. I need to go write some things down and decompress, but I hope you got to see who Mr. Tedy is. He makes you laugh, but his heart is genuine. And so thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching, and have a blessed day. Thank you. This has been the Unlearning Podcast. I hope you enjoyed this little introduction to the show, and I look forward to unlearning with you together in future episodes. If you enjoy the show, which I know you will, please like, share, and subscribe. You can also send me a written or video comment on any of your favorite podcasting apps. This podcast will be available on all podcast platforms. To stay connected, follow me on Christina Jones, the Unlearning Podcast on Facebook, and Unlearn This 2022 on Instagram. Again, thank you for listening, and until next time, what is it that you need to unlearn in your life today to live a better, brighter tomorrow? Thanks.